guys, what's up? It's Mathscastsgg coming to you with another daily video for Mathscastsgg. We're going to be talking about some stuff here today. We're going to be talking about some battlegrounds and stuff that we're going to be working on. I'm not too worried about getting the battlegrounds done right now, but I am worried about getting the pet battles and stuff done. We're currently working on collecting all the stuff for Commodore, getting all these things done and stuff. We need to collect about 98 more pets for the, that's a lot of pets. It's a lot of pets. And of course, we're going to get Zen Pet Hunter for the, basically by doing this. So we're going to get that. And we're going to actually try to get as many pets as possible for this part. That being said, we're going to definitely work on capturing the 50 rare quality pets within the next few weeks. Also, we're going to be working on trying to get this Calamar Tamer, Pandaria Tamer, done also, and probably within the next few days we're going to try to get all these Safari things done also too. That being said, we're working on trying to get raiding with Alicia's done. We've got about 5 things left for that, so we're on a little pollination. We saw one of those drop today. Of course, the Stitched Pup will definitely be something to work on. Same with Giant Spider, the Mind Slayer. The Dead Talon Whelp Guard is something that we could definitely get probably solo. Same with the Mini Mind Slayer. So that's something we're going to be working on. Of course, we're going to try to get a Little Bad Wolf and stuff. Do that every week. I'm also working on Custodian. Do that also every week. Tainted Wavelength can also do that every week. 2 of my characters, so that's pretty cool. Of course, we got the Coil Fang Starter. That's going to be something that we have to try to basically buy off the auction house because it's not something we can do solo. Of course, we got battles here that we're currently working on. We got 555 out of 1,000. We're currently working on trying to get 5,000 here, so we're going to get that eventually. Of course, we got the Experienced Pet Brawler and stuff that we're going to be working on too. We're going to get 50 Pet Battle PvP wins and stuff, so that's going to be something cool. Of course, we got the level 25 Pet Battle wins that we're definitely doing. We're going to be doing PvP on Pet Battles at level 25. We're not going to do any other tiers just because we can't really do stuff. Of course, we're going to have to win Pet Battles in 60 different zones. Of course, we're going to have to use Deep Home, Down Warren, Aspenthile, Mugnar, all that stuff for that. That's going to be another 20 points. Being said, it got no time for deal. That's something we can do at lower level Pet Battles, so we can do that. Of course, we got the Masters, so that we can do that. We can definitely get all this stuff done. To eventually limit Pandaria drops. So that being said, we got rookie pet boundary for 10s and stuff. We got 15 pet level 10s. Of course, we need to get the level 1s. There's 75 total that we need to get on level 25. We're level 25. We're going to do that. Once we get the 75 total, we'll have all these other points and stuff done. Of course, we're going to have one pet battle pet from every family to level 25 also. Of course, we have this feats of strength that we're not really worried about. Of course, we're going to have scenarios that are going to be coming out here soon. So we have to get all the bronze to do all these things here and stuff. Of course, when we get scenarios done, we're going to definitely do reputations and stuff. Those reputations should be a lot easier. Reputations for Pandaria, we've got about probably pretty close to having about 70 total reputations completed and stuff. Speaking of that, we're going to have about 60 reputations resulted for the beloved title. And stuff. Of course, we got the fishing stuff that we're going to be working on also. We got fishing stuff, and we got the Pandarian anglers, so we can catch all the native Pandarian fish, and all. Of course, we got walking down the docks, so we have to do all the dailies here, and then of course we have to perform the friends with happening. Of course, we also have cooking stuff that we're going to be working on eventually, so this is basically all phase 1 stuff here that we're going to be working on also. Then, of course, with the phase 1 stuff, we're going to have about a few things here that we're going to be working on. We're definitely going to be working on 90 of that. We're going to do time and now. Of course, we're going to definitely do first match level on both the Alliance and Horde character. Definitely going to be doing that. Of course, we're going to do Mystically Superior on that too, and also Epically Superior and stuff like that. Of course, we got 2 Ultra Scrolls left to rest. We're going to do that one. Also, there we got Pandarian Delicacies and Pandarian Cuisine. It's just really easy things to do with just really easy points. Of course, we're going to get the Mount Parade here sooner or later for the 200 mounts. And this Pandaria drops, we're going to have these 12 pants to 12 mounts over here that we're going to get. We have to get that on the Paladin so we can get the reputation things correctly done. Of course, we're going to have the roll events, of course, that we're going to be working on. Of course, Lunar Festival doesn't have anything. Levels in the Air does not have anything. Noble Garden does not have anything. Children's Week does not have anything. Extinguishing the Fires of Pandaria does have something, so that just happened recently. So we're basically have to wait a year for that, because we're talking phase 3. Or or more. Of course, we got the Brewfest and stuff. Nothing for that. All of it. Nothing for this, but we got Pandaria stuff here, so that we're gonna have to make sure we get that. Of course, we're gonna have to make sure we get the Winter Veil stuff done. Danger Zone. Of course, we're gonna have to do that here. Of course, we got the Rabbit's Dynamite and stuff. But I do want to take a note that we did get the Harpoon Dominator recently, so that's pretty cool. Good stuff, so that's pretty awesome. What else is there? We got the Brawlers Guild that's eventually going to be coming out here too. So this shouldn't be that too hard to do. It's just going to be a matter of doing the thing in a certain way. I do want to note that the only one person can do it on the server at a time, so that's going to be a problematic thing to do when we first start the account. This being said, of course, we have the exploration stuff that we're going to definitely get from this Pandaria. Also, this Pandaria has about a good amount of stuff for exploration and stuff, so we got about quite a bit of points we can get from that. This will probably be like 200 points at the very least. Of course, we got the quests and stuff then from this Pandaria. I'm probably going to do quests on the first character that I level, just so I can have everything done. I'm probably going to do it on a Paladin, to be honest, and stuff. And then, of course, with the dungeons and stuff from this Pandaria and the dungeon challenges. So there we go. Also, so this is all going to be probably giving me around 3,000 points right off the bat when the first phase happens. So we're definitely going to go for about 18k points before first phase is over. We're probably going to try to shoot for 18 to 17k points before the first phase is over. That being said, if we can get more, we will get more. But basically, we were able to figure out everything that we needed to do. Basically for this big batch and stuff. So basically all we're really working on is trying to get the battle pets. Battle pets are really the most prioritized thing right now. There's other things like all the things ATT, mogs and stuff that we can get, but I'm not too worried about that. We're definitely working on trying to get as many things here so we can get up to 40% for faction glitchiness mode. 40% is what we are aiming for that. That being said, reputations and stuff like that will be the main thing that we're working on also when pre-patch happens. So that's that. Pre-patch has happened, so that being said, but that's basically everything for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and stuff. Have a great day, guys. Good luck out there and take care. Make sure you like and subscribe. Fun, guys. Take care. Bye.